that your purpose for coming was to assist us in resolving
Absolutely.
the problem that we were in.
Absolutely.
And would you answer this question? How could we have resolved it for you at that moment?
By providing clear, concise, non-verbal answers throughout the process, and then being willing to engage in further dialogue.
Okay. And then when my husband called you to involve himself in further dialogue about that, why did you hang up on him then?
I wanted to talk to you.
No, he called you.
I know. He called me to tell me something which I already knew.
But he was calling you to do exactly what you said just now that was your purpose on the 17th. And yet, when he called you to do that very thing that you were purposefully trying to accomplish on the 17th of December, you hung up on him. Is that not true?
I called you back because I wanted to talk to you, and you never answered the phone thereafter.
I'm talking about not the phone call. I call you back when you call. But I'm talking when my husband called you back, subsequent to the 17th of December, somewhere on the same week as the 17th of December, to help you get clarification of the miscommunications that you had. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to object until ask Mr. Riedrich if he'd be kind enough to wait until she finishes the question. I realize that question is kind of long-winded, but it's specific, so.
All right,
Okay. I'll try another question. I apologize.
So let me just lay down the rules real quick.
Good question.
Have I used all my time? I feel.
You got 55 seconds.
So I've asked her to stop the clock while I just asked both of you to participate. It's fine to have an engaging dialogue, but just have some respect. If you'll ask a question, allow him to answer, and then wait for the response. I think that would be common courtesy. Thank you. And if the secretary would proceed.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Randy Booth, when you presented the information just there, have you cut and pasted, like with GarageBand or something like that, so you just clipped so that you're only putting, clearly just portions of the conversation? Is that correct?
The tape was clipped to reduce the duration from approximately 50 minutes to less than 5.
Because I noticed that when I went on to explain that Mr. Tarianen was not in town, that he was out of state, and therefore not available for a conversation, that's completely missing from the conversation.
That is not on the tape. There's no such words.
I don't know how these things go, but maybe we'll be provided with a copy of the entire conversation, because that entire meeting lasted approximately 1 hour.
That would be our request, Mr. Chairman.
We would make that a request.
So at this time, the next in the process is you have 15 minutes to discuss or discuss what you just mentioned regarding the case. That you have 15 minutes.
I think what I'll
Let me renew now my motion, just for the record, that you be given time to consult with counsel, and that we be furnished a copy of the complete recording, portions of which Mr. Riedrich has played for this committee.
Okay. So a motion on the floor requesting information and postponing
until
the next available meeting, time certain,
in Anchorage.
Is there a second to Ms. Brown's motion on the floor from a elected SEC member?
Second, Mike Tarianen.
Mr. Tarianen of Kenai Peninsula has seconded that motion.
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification for Mr. Rex Shattuck.
Did we not have this motion once? Would this not be considered deleterious?
I believe that with the evidence and stuff and the discussion that it is appropriate for discussion, even though, but I think other evidence has been put forward, and I would ask at this time, pardon me? And it is, we're being reminded by both Mr. Burke Balch on the phone and Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick that this is not debatable. But this time, a motion on the floor has been put forward and is seconded by Mr. Tarianen with the elected SEC members. All those in favor of postponing.
Chairman?
Sir.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Okay. So a roll call vote has been requested. I will ask the secretary to be prepared to help with that, and if she wouldn't mind stepping forward to the phone if that's possible. And I know it's not
It's kind of easier to.
a little bit of gymnastics here.
I can talk loud.
So if all elected members would respond with either a yay or a nay after the secretary, Ms. Julie Gillette, calls your name.
Point of order, yay being to postpone.
Yay being to postpone, a nay to move on with the proceedings of the day.
And the chair, point of order, the chair should not be participating in this vote because he is the accuser.
I'm going to see legal counsel. One moment, please. The is Mr. Burke Balch still on the phone?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Burke, if you would help us with a interpretation, the secretary has asked before she takes the roll, is the chairman allowed to vote as the accuser in this vote to postpone as the accuser?
All members of the committee as well are able to vote that they are managers.
Okay, so Mr. Balch has ruled that that is affirmative yes. So all those as a roll call, Ms. Julie Gillette would answer yay in the positive to postpone, nay in the negative to proceed with the orders of the day. Ms. Julie, if you would proceed.
Sure. Randy Ruderick,
No.
Steve Culligan,
Yes.
Ralph Seekins.
Vote to, no is to continue?
Yes is to postpone, no is to continue.
No.
Debbie Joslin,
Yes.
Alice Loika. Alice, can you hear me?
Is-
I'm not sure the motion.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to, well, I'll tell you, the motion is to postpone to a later date. A yay is to postpone, a no is to not
To
postpone.
the next, not just a later date.
To a date certain, which we'll establish.
Okay, she's voting yes. Russ Bullitt cannot vote?
Okay, I'm not
Okay.
voting member.
Becca Zerps,
No.
Rex Shattuck,
Please clarify for me, a yay is to postpone and a nay is to continue?
That is correct, Mr. Shattuck.
Nay.
Jason Rampton,
Nay.
Steve Straight,
Nay.
Bruce Schulte,
Nay.
Mike Tarianen,
Yes.
Paulette Simpson. Is Craig Johnson or Kevin Meyer on the phone?
Stedman is.
I don't have a proxy for you.
He doesn't require a proxy.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. So what's your vote?
Vote is nay.
I want to give you an official count. I have 4 yeas and 9 nays, so the nays have it.
Okay. So to repeat that for the secretary, there were 9 nays and 4 yeas, which means we proceed with the orders of the day. It brings us to the defendant's 15 minutes to present or
Yes, I would like
comment
to
on-
request Mr. Ken Jacobus read something for me, please.
Okay, yeah, I'll just take, there are a couple of things. I'm not here as her representative.
I'm a nay.
I did write a letter generally to the executive committee dated January 15th, which gave my
Point of
views
order,
on
the
this.
chairman. Point of order. Is the clock running on this time? I just want to clarify for my purpose.
I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Does everybody have my letter of January 15th? This is my views on the entire matter. But the letter, the item that she wants me to read is an email, which Mr. Seekins will be very interested in this, as I think everybody else will. Dated December 20th, 2012, from Dick Hawkins, who's the chairman of District 30, to Randy Ruderick, with copies to Debbie Brown, Eileen Becker, Jennifer Klutz, and Jesse Klutz. What it says, What Mr. Hawkins says is, Randy, I've been sent a copy of the complaint that you are proposing against Debbie Brown. I cannot and will not be part of this complaint. I will try to clear up some of the misconceptions you have stated in your complaint. The District 30 Executive Committee met shortly after our district convention. One of the items on the agenda was how to use the gas cards that we received from District 34. We received $725 of Tesoro gas cards. They were given to our Secretary-Treasurer at that time, which was Jennifer Klutz. She had them until they were distributed to District 30 delegates that were going to the state convention. They were used for that purpose. After the convention, there was $275 worth of gas cards left. When the issue came up that the new District 28 should have received a portion of the old District 34 funds, I contacted Jennifer and she brought the remaining cards to me. I will take them to Mike Torianen at my earliest convenience, along with an additional $200 worth of gas cards. This should make it right financially. It is my understanding that the old District 34 board met and decided to close their account and purchase the gas cards. Ms. Brown certainly did not use any of these funds for unauthorized purposes. The delay of getting the redistricting information out to the new districts is what resulted in the appearance of not following ARP rules. As soon as this information was received, the process for following these rules began. As far as failing to comply with ARP reporting requirements, I don't believe this was her responsibility. Jack Brown was the treasurer of Old District 34. Debbie Brown was the vice chairman. I think that if you have a problem with how District 34 handled their funds, that you should be directing your complaint at the former treasurer, not at the vice chairman. Have you sent this information to any of the other officers in Old District 34? If not, I would suggest that you do and get their input as well. Misuse of ARP or district funds is by no means a small matter. Therefore, it requires an in-depth investigation, one well beyond what you appear to have done. Other issues with your complaint have to do with events that occurred before I became involved, therefore I cannot address them. I hope that will help clear up some of the confusion. Dick Hawkins, and since I've read this, it probably should be inserted in the record here for the hearing. And actually, if they had an attorney, I think Mr. Hawkins would have been a necessary witness for, and I'm not picking on Randy, my interest is in peaceful moving the party forward, as my letter says in January 15th. And if anybody hasn't seen my January 15th letter, I'll pass it up to any of the members of the committee. Let's see.
Letter I signed.
Wayne Ross also signed the letter. He said, "Me too, Wayne Anthony Ross."
Give me 1 moment. So I'm handing the secretary, Ms. Julie Gillette, the information.
One question, just a quick one.
Mr. Seekins, you have a question? And you can stop the clock at the moment for just a second.
I just wonder, is anybody aware, the $200 that was added to the pot, was it reported as a donation by Mr. Hawkins, do you know, to APOC?
I don't know. He'd probably have to answer that question.
Wait, isn't this not my time? I think this
So,
is my
yes,
time.
please.
Well, nevertheless, in order to maintain some
I just wanted to know the
continuity to what we're
records.
doing, if you could hold your questions for just a moment?
That's appropriate. So
Thank you.
we will restart the clock. How many minutes are left, Ms. Julie Gillette?
11 minutes, 15 seconds.
Okay, she's at 11 minutes, 15 seconds at the moment, and
I would like
I
to,
think all questions, they will have 5 minutes after your 11 minutes are done under this process, and please proceed. If you're going to introduce somebody.
I would like to introduce and ask, would you like to make?
Okay, they are basic,
Please
really
state-
jurisdictional questions, okay?
Please state your name for the
Yes,
record.
Liz Vasquez.
And your relationship in testifying.
I'm not representing her, but in the interest
Okay,
of keeping a fair process, excuse me, let me finish.
This is out of order
I
at
do
the
not know
moment.
whether
Ms.
she-
Brown, if she is representing, please introduce her to read for
Let
you
me just say,
during your 11
let me
minutes.
just say, she is not representing me. We have not
Are you
discussed
asking her to
this.
speak on your behalf?
I will, out of, I guess, kindness in her direction with her interest in participating, I would like to allow her a few minutes of
Okay.
my time.
You're allowed to call witnesses. Please tell us.
Not a witness, just I would like to offer her 3 minutes of my time to speak.
I'll designate her as my co-counsel.
Okay.
Representation.
That's all that's required. Thank you very much. Just to follow
We'll have
process.
to split our fees.
Okay, it is
Please state your name for the record then.
Elizabeth Vasquez,
Please
that's
start the
V
clock.
and then Victor. A is in apple, Z is in zebra, Quez,